Welcome to Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. And now, Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater.
Welcome to the program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. If you know what I'm doing, that's good. That means you've seen these stretch bands before and you've seen these barbells. You know what? They're probably holding a door open in your house, or maybe they're in your garage. Well, they should be in your hands and in my hands, especially if you're over 65. Why? Because 1 in 4 Americans 65 and older perhaps fall and they break something. Also at this age, I can even say earlier than that, we're finding out there's arthritis, osteoporosis, and sarcopenia. Ooh, good words? Ooh, not really. Well, on the show today, we're going to talk about the science behind the importance of staying fit. And if you're not fit, getting fit, especially the elderly. I think we call us seniors. So stay with us as we talk about the importance, the science behind seniors, and the importance of their fitness. A lot to learn and a lot to do and a lot to stretch. So get up, stretch right now, and if you have those barbells holding up that door, go grab them, because we're going to do and show you a couple of exercises. And I think the key is to go slow. Stay with us as we discuss seniors and getting fit. When does it all start to fall apart? Well, you probably know, especially maybe if you look in the mirror, you stand on the scale. When do we start falling apart? I know the time, but I think maybe the golden age is 65. We're going to discuss the science behind why it's so important to stay fit and those ages. When should we start doing it? When should we have started to do it? And why we can begin right now. Also, there's the program through New Mexico State University and the extension program for seniors to get fit. We're going to tell you about that a little bit in this program, and we have another program about that. But now we're going to talk about, sadly, the science, meaning I'm not just kidding here. There are facts behind why we're supposed to stay fit. And I guess you can't argue with the science, even though we argue with the mirror and we argue with a scale. Is that true? Ladies, thank you so much for joining me on the program today. We have Cassandra Vanderpool. She's with New Mexico State University, the Department of Extension and Family Counseling Services and Sciences. We have also Diane Christensen. Thank you, Diane. She is so fantastic. She's out here with all these very exciting programs all the time. New Mexico State University Associate Professor and the Family and Consumer Science Extension Agent. And Pam Garcia. She is a participant. What does that mean? Well, you're getting fit.
That's right.
Thank you for being a part of the program. Thank you all three. And I'm going to start with a question I had. Cassandra, the science shows, when do we start falling apart?
So as you said, it's a major concern 65 and older, but actually it starts much earlier. Once we hit our 30s, we start losing muscle mass. You might notice that when you do work out, it takes longer for your muscles to recover. You feel that fatigue, you feel the muscle soreness longer. We also start to lose flexibility and balance, and all of those things contribute toward that risk that you mentioned of falls as we age.
Wow. Good news. Okay, sorry, you've got the science behind all this. And I know New Mexico State University, the extension program, all their things are based on science. And a lot of research is done at New Mexico State University. So we can't argue with it, Diane Christensen. Can we argue with any of this?
No, it's just so essential that as you age, it's really important to have a program that gives you flexibility, balance, stretching, and then strength training. Those are the 4 major things that you want to be looking for in a program.
And we're going to talk about your program, but also, again, all these different diseases, arthritis and sarcopenia, and what else? What else, Pam? What else have you had, if you want to share?
Well, I've had my knees replaced, and I have arthritis in my hands, which has really helped. And I really wanted to just increase my strength and flexibility in general. I'm a breast cancer survivor. And this program's been wonderful.
When did you decide, Pam Garcia, at what age did you decide to take it seriously, your fitness?
Seriously, I started taking classes through the extension office, I think probably about 5 years ago.
At what age, if you want to give us, or just say your age you started?
Probably about 62. I retired when I was 59, and I'd taken cooking classes and through them, but then they started to offer the wellness classes, and I started taking those. And just learned a lot of things about how to eat right, how to exercise. I've worked the National Diabetes Prevention Program. I've done I've worked with Walk with Ease, which is an arthritis program. And then this program I've really enjoyed, the Extension Get Fit. It's just been really fun. The group of people we do it with is fun. The exercises are great because they're doable at my age, because I'm 68 now. And most of the people in there, I'm not even certain. One of the guys told us he was 80. I had no clue the other day, or almost 80. It's doable. It's a nice group of people to work with. They encourage you, and you're not embarrassed. It's not like going to the gym with a bunch of people in Lycra that are can turn themselves into pretzels. It's just a very fun, easy to do program, and we meet twice a week. So you get 2 sessions of strength training twice a week, which is what they recommend, because they recommend 150 minutes a week of activity that raises your heart level, and then 2 to 3 times a week that you do strength training.
And we're going to talk about the program and specifically all of that. So thank you for that. But getting back to you, you started really you're our poster child for Extension, New Mexico State University Extension here in Bernalillo County. Congratulations. I'm sure they're thrilled with you that you love this and you tell your friends about it. You're taking advantage of a great opportunity. So you're a smart woman, Pam Garcia.
Well, thank you. But it's wonderful what they offer. I had no idea until I started going how many things were offered by the Extension office.
But getting fit, were you always fit?
No, I was not. I had a very sedentary job for a lot of years, and I was not. And I waited 10 years to get my knees replaced. So I had from 40 to 50, I could barely walk. I had my knees replaced at 50. And I was in very intensive physical therapy after that, and then I did lots of water aerobics and stuff. And then it started to taper off because my job got busy, my kids got me busy, and I just, up until probably 7 or 8 years before I retired, no, I was not. I walked a little, and that was really it.
That was it. How did you get the arthritis? That's hereditary?
Probably part of it's computer use, I think, too, and a lot of computer use in my original job. And I think that's part of it.
So, they're going to give us the science. You believe it. You believe it, Pam.
I definitely believe it.
What else can you tell us? What can you tell us? Let's go through the aging again. You're saying what, Cassandra? 65 is the golden?
That's where most people start noticing it more. So what happens as we age is we experience hormone changes. We also tend to get more sedentary, either because we retire and we're not as active doing a job anymore, or for other reasons. But those changes can contribute to that we're losing muscle mass, we're losing muscle strength. We also don't have as much flexibility and balance. And some of these chronic conditions can contribute to a lot of this too, or the muscle loss contributes to some chronic conditions.
So the muscle loss, Diane, if you know about the muscle loss.
It's, as you said, it's called sarcopenia, and it's just something that happens as you age. But the good news is by strength training, you can get that muscle mass back, which is really important. And so you can just begin to build back that strength. We think about it in terms of its, of course, its advantages, just lifestyle, avoiding falls, some of those things. But it's also really helpful in just feeling better and being stronger. It makes you more confident as you age. And you really can have that confidence that you could, for example, live on your own with much more confidence if you're strong as a senior.
But it's just Cassandra, it's just natural that we lose muscle mass.
It is, yeah. And so there are 4 different conditions that this strength training can help. Osteoarthritis, which Pam has mentioned some already, and I've experienced benefits with that as well because I have osteoarthritis in my neck and my back, and that causes a lot of pain. And I've noticed over the last few weeks as I've been more consistent with that strength training that I have less pain in my neck and my back. So even in a short time, you can start experiencing benefits in your joints.
And so let's stay with that. that was what?
Arthritis.
Just arthritis.
Osteoarthritis.
And that is hereditary?
There is a genetic component. It has to do with losing bone mineral density, and some other factors can contribute to it as well. So it does run in my family. My mother has it, and I'm experiencing it now.
I've heard with osteoporosis, stomping, getting, have you heard that as well, Diane? Stomping, walking hard, getting the bones.
Oh, weight-bearing
Cancer.
exercises, yes. Walking and strength training are the two things that are really helpful for osteoporosis.
And you found that as well?
I'm lucky. I don't have osteoporosis, so I'm really lucky. I have good bone density, actually.
Okay, then well, thank
I'm fortunate.
Good for you. So tell me a little bit more about that osteoporosis. And I think we have some slides. I'm not sure if we're able to show them. But it says approximately 10 million Americans have osteoporosis, 80% of whom are women. 1 in 2 women will experience an osteoporosis-related fracture.
Our bodies build their bone mineral density when we're young. So by the time we're young adults, we're reaching that peak bone mineral density. And from then on out, our bones are getting less and less dense throughout our life. Doing strength training can help us maintain as much bone mineral density as possible. So that's one of the reasons why strength training is so important. Without it, we continue to just lose at a faster rate. And as our bones become more brittle, we're at higher risk of them breaking when we fall.
Drinking milk, taking calcium, is that beneficial as well? And of course, there's a lot of, I hear on commercials on TV, a lot of different medications people can take.
There are, yes. And especially as your kids are aging, that's when they're getting the peak bone mineral density from all those nutrients they're getting. But throughout life, it's important to have good nutrition so that our bodies have access to all of the vitamins and minerals they need for our bodies to function properly.
If you know, Cassandra, how does strength training help retain the minerals?
Because the resistance helps the bones want to build back stronger.
Oh, wait, say that again. The resistance.
Yeah, when we put stress on something, then it automatically wants to be stronger to be able to support that stress.
Makes sense. What's an exercise people can do?
Yeah, I'm going to have Diane and Pam actually demonstrate a couple of things.
And this one, we're staying with osteoporosis at this point.
Okay, and all of these exercises, any strength training exercises are going to help with the osteoporosis, plus they'll benefit us with osteoarthritis and a couple of other conditions too we can talk about in a bit. So Pam is going to demonstrate a bicep curl using the weights, and Diane is going to do a similar exercise but with the band, doing what we call a concentration curl, but it's also working the bicep. So with both of these, you can just do the bicep curl, Pam, since you don't have a lot of space there. So on these exercises, you're just wanting to lift from a lower position up toward the shoulder, and you should be feeling it working out your bicep of your upper arm. And you mentioned earlier, slow is important, and it really is.
Fast.
Yes, a lot of people will think, oh, the more reps I do, the better. And a momentum is doing a lot of that work if you're going fast. So you notice if you slow it down, that you feel it working your muscle more, and that's really important. And you'll notice even that Diane and Pam are taking a brief pause when they're at the bottom of the exercise and then bringing it up slow so that they're maximizing how much their muscle is working. And then we can demonstrate a couple of other things too. So if you can both show a wrist curl, a lot of these exercises that we're doing can help seniors with things that they do every day, like opening jars. A lot of people experience that gets harder and harder as they age. Lifting boxes. Those sorts of things are improved through exercises like this. So in the wrist curl, they're just bending at the wrist. They're not moving their lower arms. They have them resting there. And On this exercise, it's important to use lighter weights, nothing over 5 pounds, because those wrist bones are so little, we don't want to put a lot of stress on them.
And so, Cassandra, what does this do? This, because I'm the one, I said, next time I'm going to ask the gentleman at the supermarket to open that jar of pickles for me. I can't open it.
Yeah, so both your bicep and your wrist are involved when you're doing exercises like that or activities like that. So strengthening them will help with flexibility, dexterity, and strength.
What is this wrist one strengthening?
Your wrists. Yeah, just right in here. And then if you can both put those down, we'll go ahead and show some finger exercises too, because that's also a big part of being able to do these activities of daily living. We lose some dexterity in our fingers and might have a harder time holding on to things like pens. So finger exercises seem simple, but they're really important too in maintaining independence. So Diane is doing what's called cat's claws, where she's just opening and closing at the knuckles. Diane, can you demonstrate finger O's for us?
Let's just do the cat claws
Okay.
first. So this is just strengthening our knuckles?
Your fingers. It's helping to increase flexibility and mobility, dexterity in your fingers.
Which we lose as well.
Yeah. And then the next one is finger O's. And this one is a really interesting exercise because as you do it regularly, you'll notice that you can get better and better at it. The goal is to create an O shape, so you don't want to have it pointed. You want a nice round O. And the goal is to keep all the other fingers as straight as possible.
Well, now
as
you make
work
it
through
hard.
these.
What?
It is hard,
Hi.
especially at the beginning.
Do we have to hold our hands this high?
No, you can
Okay,
hold it
let's
lower.
go.
That's fine.
What? Okay, I shouldn't say it's hard, but I can feel it. So keep them straight and then do an O.
Yes, and you try to keep the other fingers as straight as possible and round that O more. Bend your finger out some. There you go. And you continue through that and then work your way back the other way. And you'll notice when you first start this exercise that it's really challenging. It's hard to keep your other fingers straight. You might have to look at your fingers a lot to make sure they're getting in the right place. But as you do this exercise more and more, you're able to keep your fingers straighter. You're able to just do it off of muscle memory without having to look and use those visual cues as much. So you're really building the dexterity in your hands.
Which is important for what, Cassandra?
Lots of activities of daily living. Anytime you're grabbing something, anytime you're lifting something, anytime you are trying to, I lost my train of thought.
Open the pickle jar. I've noticed that mine have gotten much stronger. And these are ones you can just do while sitting in front of the TV. I mean, I think for me, strength training was really daunting. I was very nervous to do it. But when I saw, this is part of strength training, I can just do this in front of the TV, it seems so much easier, so much more doable.
And you felt the effect from
Yes,
it.
definitely felt the effect.
With arthritis, of course, it occurs when the cartilage between the bones starts to wear away and crack. Major reason why so many older adults are sedentary, which in turn results in increased joint stiffness that we're feeling.
Yeah. So when you are exercising, you're moving those joints more when they're warmed up, and that helps make them more limber so that you don't have as much pain.
Now, Pam, your knee replacements, was that because of arthritis?
No, it was actually, they were injuries from when I was younger they had developed arthritis, but it was based on original injuries to them. So, and they were arthritis by then, but you can also get arthritis that's related to having injured things.
Sarcopenia? I haven't heard much about that.
Sarcopenia is when you're losing muscle mass, which also typically is accompanied by losing muscle strength. And having bigger muscles helps us in several ways. So for example, I work a lot with diabetes. The bigger our muscles are, the better we're able to transport glucose and the more sensitive we are to insulin. So that means that we can move the blood sugar out of the blood and into the cells where it gets used for energy, and we're able to keep our blood sugars at normal levels.
I see you have on your shirt diabetes MAP. Tell us, what is that?
That stands for Diabetes Management and Prevention Programs. And MSU Extension offers several different programs for people with prediabetes and diabetes to help them manage or prevent complications of diabetes.
And the muscles you just taught us transport a lot of the waste.
They help move the glucose out of the blood and get used by the cells for energy so that it's not harming our different organs.
What other science can you tell us behind the importance of strength training?
Yeah, it also impacts our cholesterol levels. So all kinds of physical activity, both strength training and cardiovascular activity, helps to reduce our bad cholesterol and increase our good cholesterol. So if you're at risk for heart disease or even just for your health overall, it can benefit you with your cholesterol levels.
Is it important in strength training to have your heart elevated? Not elevated, but working hard as well?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, I understand cardio, of course, running, sprints, fast, gets your heart to beat faster, but in strength training, is that important as well?
It is, and I feel like that wasn't always emphasized when we were younger, but it really is important to warm up before you start exercising, and it's important to cool down. I see a lot of people finish lifting weights and they just stop and go about their day, but it really is important to take a few minutes to do cool down exercises and stretches as well. Regarding the warm-up, one of the examples that we like to use is a rubber band. When a rubber band is cold and you stretch it, it's more likely to break. It's more brittle, but if it's warmed up, you can stretch it much easier. And it's a similar concept with our muscles.
So the warming up, is it that, I mean, you've heard it, we've heard it, Pam. Pam probably does it. Do you warm up?
Yeah, it's part of the program, and we do, yes.
We've heard the
We
importance
definitely
of
do.
it, but you said the rubber band, that just makes sense. It shows it can crack if it's not.
Yeah, you're more susceptible to injury if you're not taking the time to warm up and cool down.
What about the cool down as well?
Yes. The cool down does help reduce injury, but it also helps with muscle soreness because you're lengthening out those muscles again so that you're
Okay.
getting them nice and stretched out. It also helps bring that heart rate down gradually.
Anything else about the science? Because again, we're going to have another program regarding extension, Get Fit. But what else can you tell us behind the science behind the importance of strength training?
Yeah, there's just been so much research done on it, and a lot of the benefits, we may not necessarily know all the reasons behind it, but we do see that it improves people's overall health, it improves their energy, they feel less joint pain, they experience healthier blood sugar levels, and then there can also be a great social aspect to it when doing it as a group.
It also really helps with depression and emotional too. It just makes you feel overall better and helps with your kind of just how you're feeling about mental health and
Mental and emotional benefits.
yes.
It says increases the mood and attitude, decreases depression, allows you to sleep more soundly.
Yes.
Is there science behind some of this, Cassandra? The findings?
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the science behind the sleep research, just that there's a lot of research to support that when you are exercising, you do sleep better.
Very good. Anything else you'd like to share on this program about the science, Diane Christensen?
Well, maybe this isn't quite about the science, but I did just want to encourage viewers that for me, I really had a mental kind of block with strength training. I was a bit afraid of it. I was afraid I wouldn't do it right. And so that kept me from doing it for years. And finally, I had to ask myself, what are your barriers? Why aren't you doing this? You eat well, you do cardio. Why aren't you doing the strength training? And so I think that's important for people to understand and just ask themselves, what are their barriers? And once I understood that, then I was able to find a program that fit my needs. So.
Pam, what would you like to share?
No,
On your fitness and believing that it works.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really doable program. It does work. I feel so much better. We've been doing it about 7 weeks now, I think, and I can't believe how much better I feel. And like I had fairly bad. My arthritis had a really bad pain from my lower arm. I mean, up to my wrist, and it is almost entirely gone from it. Getting out of chairs is easier. Crazy things like putting your shoes on are easier. I mean, it's just amazing. And I'm like Diane, I was kind of afraid of strength training, and it's kind of nice to do it with people, and this has been scientifically tested, so you feel safe doing it. And it's not, we're not lifting barbells with, 100 pounds on them or something like that. It's been a really educational and enjoyable thing to do, and very beneficial physically and mentally. And the people in it are great. I mean, it's been a really fun thing to do.
Thank you so much, Pam Garcia, of course, Diane Christensen, and Cassandra Vanderpool. We're going to have another show about Extension Get Fit. So give us a little 30-second plug on it. What is it, Diane Christensen?
Extension Get Fit is a great program because it's 12 weeks and you meet twice a week, and we teach you how to warm up, how to do the strength training exercises that are specific for seniors, and how to cool down.
And it's starting soon. It might be at an extension office near you. So we're going to talk about it in the next program. Again, thank you, Cassandra, Diane, and thank you, Pam. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Make it a great week. Before we go, we're going to get a wide shot of all of us. Let's do the O's, and I'll do the fingers because the O's was a little hard for me. So we can do this watching Issues and Answers and other programs on KCHF TV. And then we can go open our jars of pickles. Thanks for watching. Have a great week with your family. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program or to purchase a copy of any Issues and Answers program, visit sunbroadcasting.org or call us at 505-345-1991.